Welcome back, Nick Landis Movie Reviews. This is episode number 44 and triple feature number 10. Okay? First up, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Yeah, just by the title and basically, and titles, it's basically, even though it has nothing really much to do with the Freddy series, but it stars Robert Englund, and he plays sort of a realistic version of Freddy Krueger. Now, as for the claw that's on the cover here, that is actually a lie. I mean, he never wears the actual glove in the movie. The glove is actually seen, but he never actually wears it. The glove he does wear when you do see Freddy Krueger show up is that his knives are inside of his fingers. Yeah, and he get a more updated look per se. There's one film and second film I forgot to mention. He actually wears a trench coat in that film. But a lot of time his outfit is simply just a brown hat, even though in New Nightmare it's green for some reason. A Christmas sweater, khaki pants, and looks like hiking boots. That's simply how he dresses, plus with a glove with knives on it. Which, according to 51st Jason, is called butter knives. It's a bit of a weird movie per se. Heather Langenkamp, who basically, in her third movie of the series, I forgot to mention she did come back for the third film, and her character was killed off in the third film. And also, apparently, some time has passed by between the first and third film, because they have it to where, even though it only had been about 2 years since the first film, apparently Heather Langenkamp had a gray strand in her hair. Gray streak in her hair. I don't know why they did that for. Maybe because they wanted to have her age up a bit, even though it has not been that long since Nightmare on Elm Street. But and John Saxon lost his job and he's a security guard. And he's back in this film. Robert Englund even makes a cameo as himself. He appears as three different characters. He appears as two. He appears as himself, out of makeup, only time in the series does that. He appears as Freddy Krueger on stage, and he plays the demon Freddy Krueger. Now, there was some deleted scenes that they were going to shoot for the movie, like how Wes Craven was writing a script, and apparently he had glued his eyes wide open so he could stay awake. Stuff like that. Really bizarre stuff they were going to do this film. But I don't consider this film to be that bad, unlike, let's say, Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. This one, I kind of felt this, though, was actually a really good film, despite the fact, at this point, slasher films were running out of steam. Yeah. The only reason why they made this film, two reasons. Popular demand, and the fact it was the 10th anniversary of the first film. That's the only reason why. And then, pretty much, he wasn't seen on screen again for at least 9 years, per se. But this film has nothing to do with the Freddy timeline at all. But it's a pretty decent film, nonetheless. I know I keep saying that, but yeah, it's actually a really good film. And I give it an 9 out of 10. And take a look at that makeup; it looks really good on him. And they tend to copy some stuff from the original film, but not entirely. And I want to before I move on to my next thing, I want to briefly talk about the remake, which is not going to be part of it. I want to briefly talk about it. The remake, I do like the way the film looks. I love Jackie O'Hara's performance, but the rest of the film is garbage. The actress who plays Nancy is worse than Heather Langenkamp, who did an okay job in the first film, a little bit better job in the third film, and did a pretty okay job in New Nightmare. But good God, man, it's like most of the cast was just horrible, and the only decent character I did like was Katie Cassidy. Her character was actually good, despite the fact it was a brief jump scare and the fact they used CGI in the film. But I was hoping she was going to be Nancy, not the actual Nancy, who basically put on a very wooden performance. Okay, but not exactly a full review, but I want to briefly mention it. Alright, next up, moving on from Nightmare on Elm Street, and I do have the Air 2 films, which I'll probably review later on, but the original Poltergeist, released in 1982. This film is 34 years old, 35 next year. Now, this film, believe it or not, for a suspense film, This film is almost 2 hours long. It's an hour and 54 minutes. Long film for something part of the horror genre. It's a long film. And they do tend to repeat stuff in this film in the remake. But this film, you have Craig T. Nelson as the father. Carol Ann is played by... now, I don't want to be cursed, per se, because this film and the whole series basically has suffered through a curse where several of the actors involved with this franchise later died. As a matter of fact, the actress who played Carol Ann died at the age of 12. And it was just after they finished production on Poltergeist 3, which I'll get to in later episodes if I can find the DVD. But there was also been some controversy of who directed this film. Now, it's credited that Tobe Hooper, the guy who directed the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he's credited as director of this film. But the style is Steven Spielberg. So it's big contention, but Tobe Hooper, I definitely think Tobe Hooper definitely did direct the film. But he probably took tips from Steven Spielberg, this is actually one of a few movies where Steven Spielberg's company has been involved with the production of this film, and Spielberg has nothing to do with directing. He just is a producer. But this film is great. I know this film was remade last year. I've seen it. They're both just as good. I like both. And yeah, they're here. Nothing much else to say. And in case you're wondering, was Craig T. Nelson affected by the curse of these films? No, he wasn't. His career went perfectly fine, while death of several actors, including a production, when people worked in the production, actually died. Yeah. But I don't want to spoil too much of this film, because it is such a good film to watch. 9.5 out of 10. Alright, last one for this one, and I'll close this video out. Halloween from 1978. Directed by John Carpenter, starring Jamie Lee Curtis. The film is an hour and 32 minutes. Now, in the next film, except I'm going to go over the second to fourth films. But this film is the only film John Carpenter directed. Yeah, this is another one of his films. This is actually, I think, if I can think of correctly, for major released films, I think this was his third or fourth film. I don't know about that. But basically, how he got this film financed was the original Assault on Precinct 13. That's how he got this film made. Now, as for Michael Myers himself, there is, even though there's one person, I think his name is Nick Castle, I think his name is, he's credited as playing the Shape in this film. But according to a lot of people, there has been a rumored, basically, several people have played Michael Myers. There was even a point where even John Carpenter himself was playing Michael Myers. But this film pretty much also jump-started Jamie Lee Curtis's career. Because also in the film, I should bring this up, they do this both in this film and the remake. The actual original film, The Thing from Another World, which was the film John Carpenter later remade a few years after he did this film, into his classic 1982 version. Footage of that film is actually seen in this very film itself, basically seen on television. And one of the characters in this film does come back for the sixth film, which I'll get to in a future episode, by the way. 2 episodes from now, I'll cover that. But like I do with Poltergeist, I don't want to spoil too much of this film. I can confirm there's only 3 deaths in this film, and they're not bloody. And one thing, the way the film kind of ends, not exactly a big spoilerish, but Carpenter just shows off the places where the murders took place. That's basically what he did. And the film is very well shot. It's heavily rumored that the mask they used was heavily inspired by the look that William Shatner got in the film The Devil's Reign, which came out a couple years prior. I have seen it. It is very bizarre, and I don't want to see it again. Even his movements are copied. Even how, yeah, not only, even though the mask is confirmed to be a Captain Kirk mask, Some people think it's a mask from Devil's Reign. Even copies of the movies that Shatner did in that film. But it's still a great film to watch, and I highly recommend it. But if you're going to watch a movie series for Halloween, watch this one. This one heavily deals with Halloween. Now, some people credit this as the first slasher film. That technically is not true, per se. The first slasher film was Psycho, not this one. This one basically established the tropes, basically slasher films don't be associated with, but it's not the first slasher film. Psycho basically beat that by 18 years. As a matter of fact, Jamie Lee Curtis is the daughter of the original star of that film, Janet Leigh. Love this film. I give it a 10 out of 10. Great film. Sorry for the glare. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be another triple shot. I'm going to go through these triple shots because I haven't done these in a few days. I'm going to do this tomorrow, hopefully. Okay? Where in the next episode, I'm going to go over the second to fourth films of the Halloween series. Okay? But until then, I will see you there. Bye.